we got our first paid job through our Instagram, and we only had 6K at that point. And then after that paid job, it would kind of open our eyes.
Yeah, actually, that's the point when we was like, okay, this can be a full-time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to move on to talk about your photography now, because some of the photos you've taken are absolutely incredible. Are you both keen photographers? And when did you learn the skill?
So it's me that does most of the photography, and it's been kind of like a slow process over the years. So I've had like a beginner digital camera on our first trip in Australia, but we ended up just using a GoPro and a selfie stick. Like that was the initiation of the passion. And it was not until I started like seeing other people's travel photos, and I was like, I could do this. Like I love traveling. I love using the GoPro and creating content. Like I want to like step it up a little bit. And it's been a slow process of learning, like using online tutorials, YouTube, stuff like Skillshare. And it's eventually got to where we are today. And like we managed to get a couple of professional jobs out of it. We also have our presets that we sell online as well. So it's
just been a journey, really, hasn't it? Like
not professionally trained whatsoever. Like
no professional background. And I think one of the things as well that Luke doesn't really talk about is that he loves to experiment as well with the camera. So not only will we take couple photos, but everywhere we travel to, he'll always get some behind the scenes ones. And I think that has really changed the way you shoot, because you love capturing the mind, like the normality of travel and life in itself. And I think that's really beautiful. But I must say, if there's any good photos of Luke, they are mine. I'm taking credit for that.
Tyler likes to call herself the director. So I'm the camera guy, I'm doing the running, I'm fulfilling orders, while she's just sat back being like, no, change this, do this.
Again, compromise is needed on that situation.
And you spoke about the fact that you started taking photographs on a GoPro. So I think I know the answer to this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you need an expensive camera to take nice photographs?
Oh, no, not at all. Like, we loved taking the content on a GoPro. Like, it was so fun. We enjoyed it. And then you can, like technology nowadays, you can use what's in your hand, your smartphone, and we've seen people use iPhones to record movies. Like it's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I think if you want quality as well, I'd definitely recommend, again, a good camera at least, so you can play around with it and learn a bit more. But yeah, you don't need to have a super expensive
I mean, you can invest in a camera if you have the idea of progressing. But if you have no interest in, going down this photography route, researching the best light and when the sun sets and the reflection of the light hitting this like mountain and back in your face, like you can get really technical. But if that's not your thing, your phone and GoPro is perfectly fine.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact that light is obviously a massive factor in photography. Do you have any photography tips which you could share which can up everyone's Instagram game?
Director, do you want to go?
So one, I'd say play around with your angles. So if there's a lot of people who take photos kind of like just stood straight in front of the camera. Like if that's not your angle, like work with it and just take a few, so you kind of get used to which angles look good for you, because then you can always revert back to it every time you have a photo opportunity for sure.
And it's taking that extra few minutes, like if you get to a spot and you think, oh, this is a really good photo, or I've got a really good photo, this is going to be cool, it's going to like blow up on my feed. I follow a rule of thumb where you could at least try to get 5 shots from one location. Like, so then you've got the shot you want, but B, you're also experimenting and basically training your eye to see differently, to try see stuff people aren't seeing. And just with that, that short breath, that extra couple of minutes, like it's perfect.
Don't feel rushed. I'm one of those people that I had to get used to being in front of the camera for a bit, because I was always like, look, just take the photo. Like, I don't want people looking at me. But you just gotta pretend like everyone's doing it now, and like it's a normal thing to stand in front of a camera. So just kind of be confident with it and
take your time.
And one other thing is lighting as well. I think
so obviously lighting is, you don't need huge knowledge of it, but if you just need to know if like there's too much harsh light on the face, maybe turn to the side a little bit, get some off shadow, or shoot at sunrise or most people shoot at sunset because it's nice and soft. You got the colors in the sky.
That's what we usually do. We usually do
Mm.
a sunrise and a sunset shoot for us.
But there's no real rule of thumb. Like we can get amazing photos during the day. It just depends, like if you're in shade or like if there's cloud in the sky. So don't just limit yourself to, oh, these people said I need to do this when taking photos, so I'm going to do A, B, and C kind of thing. So obviously take into account the advice people give you, but also experiment.
And have fun with it. Don't ever take it too seriously, because we've had so many moments where like we've been trying so hard to get a shot because it's so beautiful and we've seen so many different of images, and we've ended up getting fights because of it, and it's just the pictures didn't turn out well, and you're like, oh, it's so not worth it.
We ended up implementing a rule where we tried 3 times, and after the third one, if it's not happening, then it's not happening.
Yeah, no matter how good it is, it's not working.
Yeah. So you just let it pass. There'll be another opportunity. Yeah, and that's really helped actually.
Nice. And we've got to speak about the fact that you've grown an Instagram account, the Two Bohemians, to 64,000 followers. Where did the idea of starting the account come from?
So our journey with Instagram actually started in 2015 when we were in Australia, and travel couples weren't really a big thing back then. It wasn't a huge thing, but we were using it more just to post for family and friends whilst we were in Oz. And then we kind of got a bit bored with it. So we left our Instagram for about, like when we got home in 2000, just before 17, we basically didn't use it until 2018. So we took a sabbatical for 2 years.
Yeah, that's the period where we were just working and doing casual jobs.
Yeah.
But if you scroll down to the bottom of our feed, they're not photos of us, it's the travel photos we took. It's like 1 or 2 on the GoPro and on our like beginner's camera. So it was a slow process, but initially it came from just us wanting to share our memories.
Yeah.
Like, and look back and be like, oh, this is cool. Like.
And then one of the things that happened was in 2018, when we were living in Manchester, we started taking a few more photos of us and just like little things like our adventures, and we started to get a bit more like engagement of the photos of us. So we kind of just was like, oh, let's just keep doing it, like it's fun. And then Luke started to work a bit more on it. This was before we even did proper editing or anything like that. And then we got our first paid job through our Instagram, and we only had 6K at that point. And then after that paid job, it would kind of open our eyes.
Yeah, actually, that's the point when we was like, okay, this can be a full time. So it was incredible. We were just like, oh my god, what the hell's happening? This is kind of weird. It's surreal. Like,
and I think you went down the rabbit hole of editing and learning. Then he was kind of like, right, let's see how I can learn about Instagram and like engagement and hashtags and editing. And I think then we started to boost it a bit more, and then we went to Southeast Asia in December 2018, and that's when you invested in a new camera, and we were just like, hey, let's give it a go and see what happens, and see if we can get some more work from this, and see if we can make it a full-time business.
Fantastic. And what was that first paid job, if you don't mind me asking?
So we were featured for Love Great Britain on their series I Travel For. This was a couple of years ago now, but they did a series of people traveling for adventure, traveling for culture, for food, and we actually got the romance section. So we were whisked away to the Cotswolds.
Wait, before that, so the guy sent us a message, one of the people working on the set, just to inquire if we'd be interested in the position. And because it came in the request folder.
It was on his personal account.
So I was like, oh, Luke, just delete that message. Like, we got a randomer sending us a message about some work. And he was like, no, I'm just going to answer it. And I was like, fine, whatever. And then, I'm glad you did. Because
it's really cool. I'll have to share the video with you afterwards. So you can
I've actually already seen that one. Actually, I've watched it in preparation. Yeah, nice.
Okay. So it was interesting to be in that kind of realm, like because it was more TV production and set as opposed to like the stuff we do now. But it was
so much fun. Like we got to stay in this really amazing place down in the Cotswolds. We got like a free bottle of wine, free dinner. Like they proper treat us like royalty, and that's when we were like, oh, maybe there's a career in this.
Nice. And you appear to live this dream lifestyle, and it's something which almost is associated with Instagram. How close would you say your Instagram is to reality?
That's a really good question, actually. Honestly and truly, it's quite close, to be honest. Like, we don't try to sugarcoat anything, and like blow it out of proportion and seem like it's out of reach kind of thing, because anything in life is attainable. And that's what we try to share with our account. And obviously on our feed, those are the professional photos, but on the stories, if you keep up to date with us day to day, we share day-to-day life. We share the good, the bad, the ups, the downs.
Yeah.
I mean, this morning Tyler got me in our van washing dishes, like crowd on the campsite where we are in our van right now, and it's quite close, yeah. And we're always open to speak to people and to like give them advice and talk with them, and you know,
keep it as honest as possible, because I think we noticed this when we were growing our social media, that a lot of people look at Instagram as like a highlight reel and that everything in life looks like Instagram. And we started to notice that a lot of people were thinking that life was unattainable in that aspect because of it. So we wanted to make it more relatable to people and show them that even though, yes, we get to work with incredible 5-star hotels, but we also live out of a van and wash our dishes outside on the ground.
Yeah. And it's a process. That's one thing we try to exaggerate, is that it does not happen overnight.
No.
And we've learned that the hard way, of course. Like, we've gone through like together 9 years of growing, and then the last few years of working together. Like, it's not easy.
No.
And we've shared this constantly.
Yeah, for sure. I think our audience loves that, though. I think they love the fact that we work really hard on being honest and being authentic and showing the real side of who we are, because on a daily basis, we get so many messages about like just little things in our day, like, oh, we didn't you like this brand, or we didn't know you do that, or this kind of stuff. I think it's really important to have that authenticity and that realness behind your Instagram.